he might be entering a Packers rebuild. Now, I've talked about this already, how Davante Adams is set to hit free agency. Arguably the best receiver in the league, set to hit free agency. Devondre Campbell, first team All Pro inside linebacker, set to hit free agency. Please, Campbell, please leave the Packers because I love cheering for ex-Gophers. I will always cheer for ex-Gophers, but it's so hard to cheer for you when you are in that ugly purple and gold. So please, or that ugly green and gold. Oh my gosh, someone's going to clip that. That ugly green and gold. Please leave them. Go somewhere else. Big Bob Tunyon, their starting tight end, set to hit free agency. Kevin King, starting corner, set to hit free agency. Lucas Patrick, starting right guard, set to hit free agency. They have multiple starters on their team that are entering free agency, and big name future Hall of Famer player like Davante Adams set to hit free agency. Now, after the 49ers beat the Packers in the press conference, we heard Aaron Rodgers say something that very, very, very important, quote, that he doesn't want to go through a rebuild. What that means is that he will not stick with the Packers through the rebuilding phase, as expected, because he's going to be 39 years old this upcoming season. You expect a 39-year-old quarterback, future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, 4-time All-Pro, 10-time Pro Bowler to want to go through a rebuild? No, he does not. Despite the fact that he plays for a very good head coach, and Davante Adams is on his team as well that he's throwing to. Still, with that being said, I mean, he is not going to go through this rebuild. What that means is that Aaron Rodgers, for the first time in a long time, the Packers might not have a Hall of Fame quarterback on their team. My entire lifetime, the Packers have had a Hall of Fame quarterback. They went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. They had Brett Favre and somehow upgraded from Brett Favre. We might see an Aaron Rodgers trade here. Now, we talked about this last year. Yes, we talked about this last year, but it's different this year. Why is it different this year? Because the Packers don't have as bright of a future. They can't just reload the same way they did last year. Last year, they just loaded up on defensive talent. They have Davante Adams coming back. I mean, the best wide receiver in the league is coming back on their team. They just completely loaded up on talent. This year, we might see a Packers rebuild. And I talked about this a little bit on the podcast a couple weeks back. It's looking more possible now. And this is so good to see because it's been year after year after year. 3 years in a row, the Packers have had a 13-win season. 3 years in a row. We might see them get less than 10 next year. We might see them get a less than 500 record next year with Jordan Love at quarterback. Because from what I saw from Jordan Love this year, Jordan Love lost his team against the Lions. I mean, Jordan Love doesn't look good at all. You might say, well, this is the same as the Aaron Rodgers situation. This is not the same as the Aaron Rodgers situation where he was taking over Brett Favre, as Jordan Love looked terrible. He looked terrible, and I would love for him to be the starting quarterback. Please keep Jordan Love. Start him next year. I want that to happen. I do not want to see Aaron Rodgers come back on their team. But it is so good to see because here's the thing, Vikings fans. Aaron Rodgers might leave our division. Aaron Rodgers might leave the division if the Packers decide to go for a rebuild. Now, they can reload. I'm not saying that they can't. It's just looking unlikely that they will because Devondre Campbell, he just got a first-team All-Pro and Pro Bowl this year. They're going to have to pay him a buttload of money if they want to bring him back. Davante Adams, they're going to have to pay him the highest paid receiver in the NFL if he comes back on their team. Why would Davante Adams want to come back on their team if Rodgers might not be there? I mean, they can't fully rebuild. They simply cannot completely reload on their team and go for a Super Bowl next year. So, with that being said, Aaron Rodgers might be traded. Now, who is he going to be traded to? First of all, what can you get for Aaron Rodgers? You can get 2 first-round draft picks for Aaron Rodgers. He might be 39 years old or going into 39, but he is valued at his position. He just had 2 straight first-team All-Pros. He might be 39 years old, but he's shown no sign of decline the last few seasons. You really just haven't seen it with Aaron Rodgers. For that reason, 2 first-round draft picks, potentially 3 first-round draft picks. You look at the teams that are looking for quarterbacks right now. I mean, you have multiple teams in the AFC, assuming that he's traded into the AFC. You have the Denver Broncos, Cleveland Browns. Okay, let's not dismiss the fact that Baker Mayfield sucks. Cleveland Browns do need a quarterback. Obviously, Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger's retiring. I mean, there's multiple names. What is Indianapolis Colts? Okay, Indianapolis Colts are honestly a quarterback away from competing. Why they traded for Carson Wentz, a first-round draft pick for Carson Wentz, I don't understand that at all. I think that's completely stupid, and that's why the Minnesota Vikings can get a first-round draft pick for Kirk Cousins, is because Kirk is better than Wentz. I mean, it just simply shows that we can get a first-round draft pick for Kirk Cousins, just like Carson Wentz was worth a first-round draft pick. So Aaron Rodgers could be 2, 3 first-round draft picks traded away into the AFC. Now, they can trade them to the NFC and maybe go to the Saints. I mean, why would we want that to happen? I mean, come on, Green Bay. Please don't give him to the Saints. Don't let that happen again. I'm sure he would love playing in New Orleans, but simply just don't do that. Please don't. Trade him to somewhere in the AFC. I would love to see that happen. That would not only be a win for the Packers, because the Packers are likely not going to compete next year because they don't have the cap to simply just bring all of their players back, but it would be a massive win for the rest of the NFC. For the entire NFC. This is not just the NFC North. This is the NFC as a whole. You look at our division right now. The Lions are in a rebuilding phase. They are. They don't even have their quarterback yet. They're in a rebuilding phase, and the Lions have been in a rebuilding phase the last 30 years. So are the Bears. The Bears just fired the GM and head coach. So are the Vikings. We just fired the GM and head coach. What I'm hinting at here is that next year, my prediction is that the NFC North will be the weakest division in football. That's my prediction. Do we have our expectations very high for our Vikings next year? Even if Kirk is here, even if Dalvin Cook stays with our team, even if Danielle Hunter is still here, do we have high expectations for this team? No, but we can win our division. See, we can win our division, get into, what would we have? 3 seed. We'll look at a 3 seed maybe in the playoffs because we get a lot of easy wins in our division. I'm going to admit it. We get a lot of easy wins in our division. Yes, this last year was terrible, but as long as Mike Zimmer and Clint Kubiak are on our coaching staff, we should be able to get 2 wins against the Bears and Lions at that. Next year, we could look to a lot better of a team and so much more bright of a team than we've looked at because we could be in the worst division in football as long as Aaron Rodgers is traded away. Why should the Packers trade away Aaron Rodgers? Number one, and I think this is the most obvious, Aaron Rodgers doesn't look happy in Green Bay. He simply does not. And you look at this last 2 offseasons, the reason why he's been consistently in the trade rumors is because year after year, the Packers are losing in the playoffs. No, it's not his fault. We know that. But here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers can be another Super Bowl quarterback somewhere else in the AFC. He can. You throw Aaron Rodgers on that Steelers team, or even better, on that Broncos team, they're winning a Super Bowl. They're competing in their division, and they're likely making a run for the Super Bowl. That would be so good to see Aaron Rodgers in the same division as Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers in the same division as Patrick Mahomes. Please, yes, count me all in on that. Trade him away to Denver. Trade him away to Indianapolis. Indianapolis will absolutely own their division with Aaron Rodgers on their team. They already have a stud at running back and a very good defense. They could own their division, especially since they have the very weak division with the Texans and Jaguars in that as well. Please trade him away to the AFC. I would love to see it happen. And I want to ask if there's any Packers fans here, if you agree that they should trade away Aaron Rodgers, because you look at this. This is different than last year. I mean, they can't bring all of these players back. If Aaron Rodgers is back with the Packers, they're going to win their division. Are they going to compete? Probably not. They'll win their division because of how weak of a division we are. They'll end up winning their division, but I just don't see a scenario where they end up making a Super Bowl run because they're going to lose some of their starters. They're going to lose some of these players. Whether Davante Adams comes back or not, they're still going to lose a lot of big-name players, and they have to fully go heavy on their special teams because they don't want to end their season the same way they did this last year, where special teams loses them. They're weak. Mason Crosby's finally done too. I forgot about that. Mason Crosby's going to be gone. I mean, he had a terrible season, so it's not that big of a deal, but still, it's so good to see because have you guys ever seen the Packers going into a rebuild? Ever? I can't say I have. The Packers have been consistently competing. Now, the years that Aaron Rodgers was injured, obviously they weren't competing. The Vikings completely owned the division in 2017, but Aaron Rodgers only played, 4 games that year? I mean, they've had bad seasons. They've had down years, as everybody does. But have you ever seen them go into a rebuild? I can't say I have, and this is incredible. It feels so good. Thank you, 49ers. Thank you, Jimmy Garoppolo. Thank you, Deebo Samuel. That little clip afterward where Robbie Gould hit the game-winning field goal, and then Jimmy Garoppolo comes up and he says, "You're a effing legend, man. F the Packers." Oh, it felt so good. It felt so good. I love to see it happen because, yes, I'm a Vikings fan. We're not in the playoffs just about every year. We usually miss the playoffs. It was every other year that we'd make the playoffs and then be one and done. We'd get one win and lose in the second round. But lately, it's been that we've been missing every year. But it feels like I would just want a playoff game. Every time the Packers lose, it feels like the Vikings want a playoff game. That's what it feels like.